the studios of the MetroNews Radio Network in Morgantown, this is West Virginia's premier sports talk show.
From Weirton to Welch, Martinsburg to Matewan, and all points in between, this is the Northside Automotive Statewide Sportsline.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Northside Automotive, Route 19 in Summersville. We'll beat the advertised price of any other dealer in the state, guaranteed. Now here's your host, Tony Caridi.
Happy Friday to you, everybody, and welcome on in the Northside Automotive Statewide Sports Line on this 9th day of October. Thanks so very much for being with us. Wet day here in Morgantown, at least this afternoon and right now, and that's kind of mushy because the homecoming parade is scheduled to take place, and it will take place, but it'll be a little bit damper, a little bit moister than obviously folks would be hoping for. Nonetheless, weather's supposed to clear through. Should be a really nice day tomorrow night as West Virginia takes on the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Joined in studio this evening by Coach Greg Hunter and the Senator, Brad Howe. An incredibly busy weekend in sports. I mean, we've got baseball wall to wall today, right? Just a ton of stuff is going on. And right now, they're playing in the sixth inning, bottom of the sixth inning. Houston and Kansas City are tied up at 4 apiece. If you remember, Houston won the first game in that series. One game just went final. It was a 14-inning marathon affair. Texas has taken a 2-0 lead over the Toronto Blue Jays, winning for the second straight game in Toronto, 6-4 the final in 14 innings. Longest postseason game for both of those franchises. And then coming up here shortly, the most anticipated playoff series in the history of the Chicago Cubs organization, and potentially the most detested playoff series in the history of the St. Louis Cardinals organization. Two teams that absolutely despise each other are going to play, which obviously makes it to be great theater. Coming up on our program tonight, of course, we're going to talk West Virginia and Oklahoma State. We'll get into it. We're going to be chatting with Bill Haston, sports writer for the Tulsa World, covers the Cowboys. And, of course, it is high school football week. And good matchups across the state here tonight. We'll talk about some of the highlight matchups. Plus, Marshall is in action tonight at home, taking on Southern Miss. Also tonight, NC State on the road at Virginia Tech. We'll get into all that stuff. Good evening to you, man.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Huh?
That's a big, remember we talked a few weeks ago about Friday night matchups and were the opponents, were they getting bigger name opponents? That's one tonight. You have Virginia Tech playing on a Friday night?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the post residue of the Big East. Seriously. Though that is the residue. Like if you had a forensic scheduler, right? If you had a forensic scheduler, like CSI schedule.
CSI Providence. That's what I was going to say.
CSI Providence. If you started to dig down and go, why is an ACC game, NC State, Virginia Tech, why is that on Friday night? Well, because Connecticut and Cincinnati aren't on Friday night anymore. That's why.
And some of it, don't you think some of it has to do with the NFL bigfooting Thursday night? I mean, they've come in and just trucked the ratings on Thursday. So college football, and in particular ESPN, has to say, all right, what are we going to do here? We can't continue to go head-to-head. Let's move it to Friday. We'll bigfoot high school sports, right, or attempt to, and put that game there. Like that's a factor, too.
Isn't it amazing how it just has become part of the fabric that we don't even blink really when we see all of these games on the schedule? Okay, so Marshall, right? Marshall, Southern Miss tonight. NC State, Virginia Tech. Those are the quote, that's the marquee matchup. I guarantee you there's a gajillion games out there tonight. Maybe not a gajillion, maybe like a babillion. But, I mean, there's a lot of games. We take it for granted is my point, where in the past, if there were one, right, that would be a huge, huge deal. And now they just become the fabric. I mean,
and doesn't that perfectly illustrate the double-edged sword that TV has become? I mean, it's great from an exposure standpoint because now you have all these games on, so more programs are getting on TV. But to your point, there's less attention paid to each one because there's so many. Now, as a college football just fan, I love this. I love that there's games on basically every single night. So you just know you go home, you turn on TV, boom, you got a football game. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of this more games on. The more they can put on, the better for me.
And it has changed, though. I mean, remember when West Virginia, it was West Virginia, Virginia Tech, and, Pitt, and like I said, the Big East. And you lived with that because the mantra was you're the only game on, and everybody watched you on that time. But the exposure is so spread out anymore. Again, you're not fighting 30 games, but you're fighting 3, 4, 5. And sometimes it's the NFL now on Thursdays, often the NFL on Thursdays. So it's not certainly the exposure that it used to be, and that was the reason you changed it. Because, hey, recruits will see you, everybody will see you, and it doesn't have that same effect anymore.
But who does? The NFL.
Yeah.
Right? They're putting one game on Thursday, and the whole NFL world is focused on that one game. So they've literally taken the model.
Bigger picture is, what's it mean for the game of football? The game of football has just absolutely exploded as a blossom, right? It's been like a flower coming out of the ground. The game of football has never been more popular than it is right now. Never. It's a 365-day-a-year sport when you really think about it.
Yes.
It's all people do. It's all people talk about. Football. It wasn't like that.
It was not.
There were seasons. Not seasonal anymore for football.
Agree.
Hockey is a season. NBA is a season. Baseball is a season. NFL is nonstop.
But that's also, back to the NFL, not coincidence, right?
No.
They have done that and crafted these events, and they've moved the draft around, and they've moved the combine and made that a big deal so that they can control the conversation for more months out of the year, not just during game months.
No question about that. All right, high school football season continuing tonight. This is week number 7 already, 7. The Northside Automotive MetroNews Game of the Week. The Patriots of Wheeling Park come in at number 9 to take on the 4th-ranked Morgantown Mohegans at Pony Lewis Field. Wheeling Park, Morgantown. Top 5 matchup, Class AAA tomorrow. Number 1, Cabell Midland. Number 5, Huntington. That game goes old school. 1:30 on a Saturday afternoon. Huh? That is high school football, baby. 1:30 on a Saturday afternoon.
With Marshall playing a home game tonight, obviously it makes a lot of sense for them, for their gate, to switch that to Saturday afternoon. But that
Coach Hunter, was there
well.
ever high school? Was Morgantown ever a Saturday afternoon?
Never.
It was always a Friday night.
No,
huh?
I mean, during my 3 years there playing football, we never played on anything.
3 years as an All-American.
Well, yeah, obviously. We
Right.
never played on anything but a Friday night. So, after I left, they moved a University High game or two to a Saturday afternoon and played actually at Old Mountaineer Field. When it was already falling down because they'd already built a new one, but for some reason they played at the old one.
Yeah, let Morgantown go in there. But the bricks are falling. It's all right. It's Morgantown High. Don't worry about it.
So yeah, no, it was certainly something that we never did. And you only heard of a few schools, and that's because they didn't have lights that did it.
I love it.
And East Preston would play before they got lights.
See, there was a Catholic high school in my hometown. They played Saturday afternoons. And it was a big deal. It was a big deal. That's where John Beeline graduated from. He graduated from the Catholic high school in my hometown. And that was a big deal, baby. Saturday afternoons, it was either 1 or 2 o'clock. I mean, it was big. When DeSales played, it was big.
Well, that's good. I mean, especially for areas that don't have a college game to correspond. Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing to do. As we talk about so much, what do we miss? The afternoon of experiencing in college football.
Yeah.
I mean, TV dictates the world, but boy, that's what we lived for.
Class AA Game of the Week, number 7, Kaiser at number 2, Bridgeport. Class Single A Game of the Week, it is AA number 4, Chapmanville at Class Single A number 1, Man. Our crew that updates the scores is already here. You know why? Even though the show doesn't start till 9:30, they start updating the scores and putting them on our website at wvmetronews.com as soon as the ball goes in the air. The other reason why they're already here is because the food. They get customized buffet food. That comes in the 6 o'clock hour. So they're like jackals on the plains of the Serengeti, like hyenas. They're in that conference room right now eating like anything and everything that comes in there. Don't put your hands in there. Full scores, Fred and Dave and Garrett and all the guys, 9:30 tonight, Metro News High School game line will be coming up here tonight. All right, besides the Mountaineers tomorrow, we're going to jump into West Virginia in the next segment. Big 12 matchups. Baylor at Kansas. Oh, sweet mercy.
That'll be a great one. That'll be close. I'm looking forward to watching that one.
Oh, my gosh.
The line's like, what, 45?
Oh, perhaps.
And you know what? That's probably too low, right?
Should be 45.5. That'll make it interesting. If they want to get money on both sides, they should go 45.5. Oklahoma against Texas. The Red River rivalry battle. Crazy things have happened in that series. Chances are they won't tomorrow.
Charlie Strong needs something crazy to happen in a good way.
Iowa State at Tech and TCU at Kansas State. That's what we've got. When we come back, we're jumping in West Virginia and Oklahoma State still to come. Bill Haston from the Tulsa World. That's all coming up here on the Northside Automotive Statewide Sportsline. Stay there.
To navigate any map, you need a legend like the capable Jeep Cherokee, 4-Wheeler Magazine's 2015 4-Wheeler of the Year, and Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever, with best-in-class 30 mpg highway and 730-mile driving range. So you can push even farther into uncharted and unmapped territory. Get a great deal on the most awarded and legendary SUV lineup ever at the Jeep Celebration event. Well-qualified lessees of competitive vehicles get a low-mileage lease on the 2015 Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 with 24 mpg highway for $299 a month for 39 months with $24.99 due at signing, tax, title, and license extra. The Jeep SUV lineup has received more awards in its lifetime than any other competitive SUV lineup. EPA estimated 4x2 with available EcoDiesel V6 and 24.6-gallon fuel tank. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution on lease through Chrysler Capital. 25-cent charge for each mile over 32,500. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 11/2. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
As a cyclist, we make choices. We choose which motorcycle manufacturer to buy from. We choose what type of motorcycle we ride. We even choose where and when to ride. We also choose to ride straight, alcohol and drug-free. Alcohol is involved in 50% of motorcycle fatalities in West Virginia. That's 1 in 2 drivers who die each year. Don't become a statistic. Ride straight, alcohol and drug-free. Presented by the West Virginia Department of Transportation, Governor's Highway Safety and Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Program.
Is your business or organization struggling when it comes time to tell your story? After all, your story is what makes you unique. Your story is what makes potential clients and customers draw themselves to you. Unfortunately, oftentimes, those stories aren't told and businesses and organizations remain mired in mediocrity. At Pikewood Creative, we produce videos and commercials in a way that make people take notice. If you need some visual help, then visit us at pikewoodcreative.com.
The Northside Automotive Statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes, on MetroNews. For 30 years, the voice of West Virginia.
To navigate any map, you need a legend like Jeep Cherokee, 2015 4-Wheeler of the Year. Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever. And introducing Jeep Renegade, the newest addition to the most awarded SUV lineup ever. Now get an additional $500 bonus cash. Hurry into the Jeep Celebration event. Get 0% financing for 72 months or $3,500 total cash allowance on Jeep Cherokee Limited.
Almost there. Just 5 more minutes. Almost home.
Statistics show that 80% of auto fatalities occur close to home on rural roads.
Cops.
That's why law enforcement is stepping up rural patrols and cracking down on impaired driving. If you are over the limit, you are under arrest because drinking and driving don't mix. Remember, over the limit, under arrest. This message brought to you by the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
All right. I apologize about that bumper music, man.
I said something
I
there.
mean, I apologize. That was terrible. I was trying to find some other music during the break, and I ran out of time, and so I just had to put that. I just had to reach up so there wasn't dead air, and I played that, and I apologize. I was looking for something a little snappier, but the song I wanted to use on the MetroNews Deportes feed. I don't know if a lot of you people know, but we do have a MetroNews Deportes edition of the show, which is bilingual. We were going to use this as the bumper music.
That's pretty good.
We need diversity on this show. We need something new.
Well, actually,
So why didn't you go with that?
well, because it starts with words, and I was trying to find a bridge where it didn't
I see
have
what
10
you're saying.
seconds.
Yeah,
So I need
I see
10
what you're
seconds
saying.
to play this. So I was trying. So that's on for those of you that, I don't know, probably a lot of you listen to us on our MetroNews Deportes feed. Actually, I heard that song today while I was driving. I said, I like that song.
Nice, catchy song.
Yeah, very nice. I like Spanish. The first time I really heard Spanish rap. I'd not heard Spanish rap before. That's like a weird song, though, because like, here, give me a little bit more of that. Wait.
You need to go to the
like
places
that.
Brad goes to on Friday night. You become much more
Yeah,
eclectic.
you guys are all over that, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right, coming up, West Virginia and the Cowboys tomorrow. Let's jump in here and hit Dennis and Smithers. Dennis, I haven't heard from you for a long time, which isn't necessarily bad. How are you?
Oh, well, what an intro when you've got the illustrious senator and coach and that type of introduction.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I'm formerly of Smithers now. I live in Virginia again.
Oh,
So,
very nice.
yeah, I'm on the road going to the Vatech NC State game tonight and headed up north to watch the mighty Mountaineers in Oklahoma State tomorrow, too.
That's a good weekend. That's a double dip.
Yes.
That's a good weekend.
Yes, sir. And you know, sorry it's been so long.
No, that's okay.
Well, anyway, you know, tomorrow is I think tomorrow's the biggest coaching day for the current head coach in his short tenure with us. Because if he wins, we forget the 20-point hangover from last weekend. But if he doesn't win, you got Baylor and TCU on the road. And, you know, going on the road at Baylor's not been fair to us. Going down to TCU has been a lot better. But, you know, I kind of feel for him tomorrow. I don't know if he's going to be able to weather a storm or not if we lose because, you know, this Big 12 is awful funny. You know, Charlie Strong might put some things together and beat OU tomorrow. You just never know about these things. And we don't want to be looking for a coach at the end of the year, but people know how I feel about that. But I've been told I need to be nicer. So
Well, I don't know about that. You know, some people have said that. Some people, in my opinion, have made this game like super huge tomorrow. I think.
Me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
I'll own that.
You're calling it a must-win.
Yeah, I'll own that.
See, to me, it would be bigger if it were Iowa State or Kansas. You know, if you follow my line of thought, if you were to lose,
Because you don't want to yak it up to one of the
Right.
bad teams in the league, is what you're going to say, or what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. To me, there would be more harm done in that kind of a loss, or for that matter, the way Texas is playing right now, for that kind of a loss, than an Oklahoma State team that comes in 5-0 and undefeated and nationally ranked.
So on paper, right, if this is a loss tomorrow for the Mountaineers, on paper, history will look back and say, that's a ranked team, what are we going to do? The reason I'm going must win is because what's still to come in this month. And this program we've seen have troubles late in the season and go on these slides. You don't want one of those slides to creep up on you and take out your whole month of November. If suddenly this team becomes 3-4 with 4 consecutive losses, even though it's to 4 really good teams, you don't know where the psyche of that team will be. Will the wheels completely fall off, or will they regroup and be able to win out? I think that's why I'm saying tomorrow's so important. Of this stretch of 4 games, I think it's clear tomorrow is the best chance to get a win, if for no other reason than you're at home.
Yeah, I mean, we talk so much about momentum. You know, teams can play above their head when the momentum's going their way and they've got confidence. And obviously, if it's the other, you turn it around and things can slide. But, you know, and you know what's coming up. West Virginia has never defeated a top 5 team in a true road game in the history of the university. So you know what they face is going to be really
you know what
difficult.
that means?
They're due.
They're due.
So, but yeah, I mean,
Never the
again,
optimist.
I don't know if I'm going quite must win, because I don't know if you can get a must win 5th game into the season, but reality tells you if you don't want to go through a slide that's extended, this is your best chance in this month of getting one. Right? We've called it the toughest month in the history of Mountaineer football schedule-wise.
It is. I think that 2013, Kansas and Iowa State were the last 2 games, and obviously there were issues with that. There were a bunch of things that were going on there. Quarterback play was just abysmal, and you lost to Kansas and you lost to Iowa State. Last season, you end up things with the Kansas State loss. You got to find a way to beat Kansas State. I mean, that hasn't happened yet.
So 2 programs you haven't beaten.
Yeah, I'm talking about, I'm trying to see the placement of the games in regard to, why has there been a tail off? But you got to get those kind of games. Yes, it's important, absolutely. I'm not looking at it perhaps as you were, Dennis, as far as long-term repercussions. I'm talking about this year's team. This team needs to win again. This team needs to get it back and say, hey, guess what? We just went out and played a game without Carl Joseph, and we won. Okay, we straightened ourselves out from the previous week. Now we got to go play. That's, to me, why it's important for this team.
And again, I'm not giving up on the goal of winning a Big 12 either. That's what you're trying to do when you go into the season. Yes, you've lost a game, but you're still in the hunt. You start to lose a second game in the second week in November, or in October, you probably write that goal off, and that's a shame this early in the season.
Bill in Sheet Lake, thanks for your call. Go ahead, it's your turn.
Hey, Tony, I got a question here. After missing the last Liberty and Maryland game because of on-field injury, I'd like to know. I think I'm better now, and I think I want to know what sections are the blue and gold, the even or uneven. And I called Weekly, and Coop said he'd find out before that was over. And
Weekly would not know that. I mean,
well,
Weekly
Coop
would
said
say
he would find out.
Weekly would tell you what section wears green and what section wears white. Weekly would not know gold and blue. I mean, right? I mean, Coach Hunter, isn't that correct?
The senator was on there. The senator was on there. He didn't ask him.
Yeah, that's an unfair attack on Dave Weekly there.
Well, I mean,
I don't know why you're saying that.
Well, what about you, Skippy? You're part of that show over there. Well, I mean, why didn't you help the guy out?
Well, we will. Why don't you just let us do work?
About why didn't you give him this information on Weekly? So aren't you on that show?
Yeah, wasn't aware of that. He's asking on our show, and we're about to give the information if you'd let us finish the conversation.
You can trust Coach Hunter. He'll have it for us.
The marketing guy from the former marketing guy at the university doesn't worry about that
17 years
now.
He's over at WVU in the athletic department.
Don't do it anymore. Not my job.
He doesn't know what side wears gold and what side wears blue.
Not my job. I'm out.
It's very easy. Even sections wear gold. Odd sections wear blue. That's for the general fans.
I will wear gold.
There you go.
There. See, done, Bill. Aren't you glad you called?
You guys are really a big help, and I appreciate that. And I've been to them other 2 games, but I was chasing my wife, who was chasing a dog around the house, was all, and I fell in and messed up my knee. And I thought, well, the second week I'll get a steroid shot and it'll do it. It didn't work.
Oh dear.
So I give my tickets away, and
so you've come off you've come off the injured reserve list, and you will be able to go tomorrow.
Yeah, the problem is anymore, Tony. They don't have ushers when you have an injury or something. They used to help you down the stairs. They don't have ushers doing that anymore.
Well, Brad, Coach Hunter's over there. He'll take you down the steps.
Absolutely.
I'm in 103, Coach.
He'll be there. He'll wait for you. All right, thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. I don't know. I'm just saying. If someone called here and said, hey, Tony, Marshall's striping the stadium, which color wears which color? I'd say call Weekly. I wouldn't know it either. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know what you're saying.
I'm just saying. You probably should have known that. David in Bridgeport. Hello, David.
Not my job.
Good evening, guys. Hey, you know who must win? Chicago Cubs must win tonight or they're in trouble.
Well, yeah, I guess. Playoff baseball, sure.
It's game 1, not a must-win in game 1.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. It was must-win for the Pirates a couple nights ago. That's called must-win.
I didn't even watch it. I already knew they were done. Chicago's got too much momentum. Hey, how many terms does Dennis serve as I Hate Dana's club?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I don't know that.
Well, anyway, we win easily tomorrow.
Ooh, what's easily? 10 plus?
11, yes.
Going 11.
The rare 11-point victory.
Yeah,
Right. I talked to that guy I used to have on last year on Friday nights. I've been talking to him.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
I got news there. You know, we used to have Paul Basir on last season.
PredictionMachine.com.
PredictionMachine.com.
Loved him.
And he's absolutely fantastic, but they switched their business to Fantasy League. And so they said, hey, we can come on. We'd love to come on, but we're going to talk fantasy. So I sent out an inquiry to the fine Sportsline listening base, and I said, hey, you people have any interest in this? And overwhelmingly people said, absolutely no. Don't bring that on. So I said, fine. But I did lock up a person today named Todd Furman. And Todd is he's a former used to manage a sports book in Vegas, and he's a national guy. Fox Sports 1, the whole deal, right?
Yeah, he was big Fox Sports 1 last year, all over TV. You'd see him on Friday and Saturdays, and now I believe he's a part of CBS.
Yeah.
CBS's coverage, but a big-time guy, and like you said, former bookmaker, so the guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, so he's going to be really good. I talked to him today. Couldn't make it today because he's doing stuff for CBS, but 6:20 every Friday night from here on in.
That's awesome. What kind of clothing does he wear? You do?
Oh no, he's sharp. I mean, the old days, the old day gamblers, they looked like gamblers. They kind of nothing fit right. And these guys now, they look slick. I mean, they look like they just Xenia suits. I mean, very, very nice look.
Just dropped a
No
little
sweatsuits or windbreakers for him.
No,
right?
no windbreaker, no sweatsuits. Nothing soft. Everything is very angled and very nice. Yeah.
You have his number. I'm calling him.
Well, he'll be on next week. You can give him some
good
stuff.
job.
Thank you, David.
Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Take care. That was an unexpected segment. If you'd like to join us.
Went a lot of different places there.
If you'd like to join us, we're going to roll on. Bill Haston from the Tulsa World. We'll talk with him about Oklahoma State and the Mountaineers. What's the take about the Cowboys as they come to town? Well, their uniforms are bright orange. I was over there this afternoon.
That's that Nike. They kind of keep ticking that up. We're approaching neon orange. That's big for Nike right now.
You're going to almost have to wear a welding helmet now to take a look at some of these uniforms. I mean, it's just too bright.
Oh, I like it.
Horrible color.
I disagree.
Horrible color. Orange is a bad color.
Love orange.
Do you really?
Yeah, well, my high school and college were orange and black, so I'm very, very comfortable
with
the orange and black world.
I don't like orange for uniforms. Never have. Never. Just don't like it. I think golden, this is not to suck up, but I'm just saying.
Which means you're about to suck up.
Gold and blue is best. I told someone last week, gold and blue is best uniform color combination there is in the world.
Gold and blue is really good. I agree with you.
Really, really good. We'll take a break. Back with Bill Haston. Stay with us. More coming up.
Good-paying jobs with great benefits are available now. As a correctional officer with the West Virginia Division of Corrections, you'll also have educational opportunities for a degree in criminal justice at reduced prices, high school diploma or GED, and drug screening required. Take advantage of an accelerated hiring and training process that other state agencies don't offer. National Guard members get partial credit in the Training Academy. Visit WVDOC.com.
Have you ever wondered just who are the Friends of Coal? Well, there are 50,000 West Virginia families who support the state's coal industry, and they look a lot like you. Honest, hardworking, good neighbors who want a future for themselves and their state. They're coal miners, housewives, school teachers, mechanics, doctors, college professors, pizza delivery guys, your friends. The Friends of Coal know and understand the importance of the coal industry to our state's economy. They know about the 60,000 jobs the coal industry creates in our state. They know about the $25 billion the industry pumps into our economy. And they know that without coal, our state would face an economic catastrophe. Come to think of it, that sounds like most West Virginians. Let Congress know you are a proud West Virginian, and you are a friend of coal.
Coal is West Virginia.
The Northside Automotive statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes. On MetroNews. For 30 years, the voice of West Virginia.
You need a legend like Jeep Cherokee, 2015 Four-Wheeler of the Year. Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever. And introducing Jeep Renegade, the newest addition to the most awarded SUV lineup ever. Now get an additional $500 bonus cash. Hurry into the Jeep Celebration event. Get 0% financing for 72 months or $3,500 total cash allowance on Jeep Cherokee Limited.
Almost there. Just 5 more minutes. Almost home.
Statistics show that 80% of auto fatalities occur close to home on rural roads.
Cops.
That's why law enforcement is stepping up rural patrols and cracking down on impaired driving. If you are over the limit, you are under arrest because drinking and driving don't mix. Remember, over the limit, under arrest. This message brought to you by the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Thanks so much for being with us, everyone. Northside Automotive Statewide Sportsline rolls on. Tony Caridi along with the Senator, Brad Howe, and Coach Greg Hunter. Delighted to be joined right now by Bill Haston of the Tulsa World. Good evening to you, Bill.
Hey, Tony.
How are you, sir?
I'm recovering from the Ranger game, actually.
Oh, that's true.
I'm doing well.
Oh, that's true. I thought when you started saying I'm recovering, I was going to say, I heard you went to Permanis earlier today. I thought you were going to say I'm recovering from my Permanis sandwich.
I did go to Permanis. I went to Permanis and watched the middle innings of the ball game and then checked into the hotel, and there was no MLB in my hotel, so I had to follow it on my phone.
Oh, boy.
And was dying with each pitch update, but it had a favorable outcome, so I'm a happy guy.
Absolutely. 14 innings. That's a fantastic game and what should be a fantastic day of baseball. How good is this Oklahoma State team?
I don't know. I don't. That's a crazy. It's so. There are so many parallels to last year. Although this is a way better Oklahoma State team, but you get to midseason last year, and they were 5-1 and ranked 15th in the country. And I have a vivid memory of looking at the schedule and saying, these guys may not win another game. And if not for Bob Stoops' decision to punt that second time in the Bedlam game, Oklahoma State would not have won a game or another game the rest of the way last year. So here we are, almost to the midway mark this year. They're 5-0. They're 21st in the country. They've got a 7-game win streak that began with that punt return in Bedlam, and there's no question defensively they're really good. Their pressure game is the best I've ever seen for a Gundy team. Mason Rudolph is the biggest difference between October of last year and October now. But with the run game in the state that it's in, and with the schedule about to become a lot more difficult, are they ready to, prove that they're a legitimate contender in the conference, or are they about to get beat 4 times? I don't know. That's why tomorrow night is so fascinating to see whether, if Oklahoma State's legit and whether they can go to Morgantown and win a night game.
The running game has been talked about a great deal this week. And there are several reasons, obviously, that it hasn't been successful. Is it a running game which, in your opinion, is going to develop and evolve to be solid, or are there fundamental issues which will not allow this team to successfully run the ball this season?
I just don't think, now that we're 5 games into it, I think it just is what it is. I don't see this collection of guys up front and in the backfield just suddenly, I just don't see them flipping a switch and going from, a team that averages 2.5, 3 yards per attempt in a given game to suddenly going to 4.5 to 5 yards per attempt. I just don't see it. And I'm really surprised because there were no signs in the spring or in preseason camp that they might struggle in that way. In fact, they went ones versus ones almost exclusively in preseason camp. I didn't really see any signs that they were going to struggle like this in the run game. And it's all the more surprising because the offensive line is a really pretty good protection line. They pass protect really well, but they just haven't been able to get push in the run game and create lanes for those backs. And there's really not a dynamic, creative type back. Well, certainly with the first two guys that they're running out there, but I know Gundy is heartbroken over it, and I'm surprised by it. And I think that their saving grace has been that Rudolph has completed a high percentage. He's been great on third down, and he's got a ton of receivers to throw to. So Gundy's still stubborn. He still says he's going to run it 30 times and see what he can get out of it. But Rudolph's the reason they're 5-0. There's no question. They are 5-0 in spite of their run game.
Bill, we've heard throughout the week about how good this Oklahoma State defense is, and you mentioned the pressure they can get. 22 sacks, nation's best so far. Is it simply because they got great athletes like Emmanuel Ogbah and Jimmy Bean, or is there something schematically that the Cowboys are doing?
No, it's strictly a matter of because Glenn Spencer really doesn't dial up that many blitzes, and they lost Oklahoma State like you guys, like West Virginia lost Carl Joseph on Tuesday, which was the biggest injury in the conference so far this season. Ryan Simmons is a veteran linebacker, a pretty good player, 31 start guy at middle linebacker. Well, he sustained a knee injury, a few days before, but it really began to show up in the Kansas State game. And then they examined him again, determined he's got 2 torn ligaments, and he's done. So they lost Simmons on the same day that West Virginia lost Carl Joseph. And so they run this other kid out there, this transfer from Cal, and he played great against K-State. And he adds an additional guy in the pressure game who's really good. He's a better pressure guy or a pressure threat from the linebacker position than Ryan Simmons was. His name's Chad Whitener. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, you ask about Ogbah. I remember in August, Todd McShay had Ogbah as a top 5 guy on his really early big board for the upcoming NFL draft, and I just thought, I don't see that. Because there were too many games last year where he was great and then he was invisible. He would just not show up for entire games. And I thought, if you're on that level, then you're going to be disruptive every week. Well, he's been disruptive every possession this year. He's been great. And they were just so young on defense last year. So a bunch of guys in the back end of it and up front have just kind of matured and gotten, reached a better level at the same time. But yeah, their pressure game is sensational, and it's really it's not tricked up or gimmicked up at all by Glenn Spencer. It's just that they've gotten really, really quality athletes, and they've got more depth than Gundy's ever had on defense. Gundy adjusted his recruiting philosophy about 3 years ago. He committed more scholarships to the defensive side, and now it's showing up.
We're talking with Bill Haston, Tulsa World. So if Oklahoma State's going to come in here and win tomorrow, pick one of these. It will be because the offense and Mason Rudolph are fantastic, or it's because the defense shuts West Virginia down?
No, it'll be the latter because, I think OU showed last week how you beat West Virginia is you just harass Skylar Howard all day long, and OSU believes that their pressure people are at least as good as OU's, if not the best in the league. And so, I don't expect Skylar Howard to make 5 turnovers tomorrow. That's not going to happen again. But maybe you can get a couple out of him if you can consistently get back there and mess up his timing or make him throw quicker or later than he wants or whatever. But no, it'll definitely be. They won at Texas because of their defense, and they won over K-State the other day because of a great second half on defense. And if they're destined to win tomorrow night, it'll be the same formula. The defense will set it up for Rudolph to hit a couple of throws and see if they can steal one.
Bill, in that case, following kind of along Brad's question there, so how do you beat these Cowboys in your opinion?
Well, when Rudolph has been from the left side of the defense, if you can beat one of those guys on the right side of the offensive line and get to Rudolph, you can force Mason to make a mistake, and I just don't see OSU going into Morgantown and running the football very effectively. And I'll be interested to see how stubborn Gundy is in that regard tomorrow night, because he ran 19 times on first down last week and got virtually nothing out of it. Are they going to remain stubborn that way and force Rudolph to convert 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 8 like he did last week over and over and over? And he did do it. But at some point, I mean, that's living dangerously. And if you go to Morgantown in a night game and you ask him to convert 3rd and long time and again, I don't like Oklahoma State's chances. I picked West Virginia to win the game. I think West Virginia will bounce back from the OU debacle, and I just think it's their turn to win at home. But will it surprise me if OSU gets it done? Not in the least, because of Rudolph. Rudolph, you know, when West Virginia won at Stillwater last year, that was part of that 5-game losing streak Oklahoma State had. And they couldn't beat anybody during that stretch. And since Rudolph took it over, since Rudolph became the starting quarterback, they're 7-1 with a 7-game streak. So I probably shouldn't pick against Rudolph. I probably shouldn't underestimate this guy, because 4 of those 7 wins have been away from home. So my expectation is that West Virginia finds a way, but I won't be a bit surprised if Rudolph gets it done.
Kind of ironic, isn't it, Bill, that 6 years ago now, Dana Holgorsen came to Stillwater to install the quote-unquote air raid and teach Mike Gundy how to fire that ball all over the lot. And now Mike would be better suited to throw the ball all over the lot, but he wants to run the ball. And Dana on the other side, who used to be known for throwing it all over, now he's running more than he's throwing it.
You know, Dana was in Stillwater about 10 months.
Yeah,
I guess, and never, you know the story. I mean, he moved into a suite at the Residence Inn in Stillwater, and he never left. He stayed there his entire time there, and so you knew he was a short timer. But those were 10 really important months for Dana Holgorsen as a football guy, because he collaborated with Gundy and with Joe Wickline, who was the O-line coach at the time, and really learned more about the value of the run game within the Holgorsen/Mike Leach air raid stuff. So It was a very important, formative time for Dana. And you know, it was a perfect place at the perfect time for Dana Holgorsen, because he inherited a 27-year-old NFL quarterback and Justin Blackman and a 1,500-yard tailback.
Yeah, Kendall
So
Hunter, yeah.
Dana Holgorsen learned more about what he wanted to become as an offensive coach. And now you're right, though. I mean, now it's Gundy who's got to throw it 50 times, and Dana with two running backs who can win a game for him. So. Yeah. Now, I can tell you this, too. Dana's one of the all-time guys. He's one of my favorites I've ever covered. I really enjoyed the guy. But tomorrow night's fascinating. It's to some extent, it's kind of an elimination game potentially for West Virginia, and it's a very revealing game for Oklahoma State. Yeah. I think it's a great game.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's got the great makings to be a good one. Well, listen, buddy, we certainly appreciate your time. We hope that you enjoy the rest of your stay here in Morgantown, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night at the stadium.
All right, fellas. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. There he is. You can check out his work at the Tulsa World. It's Bill Haston. Need to take our final break. We'll do it right now. Back with more right after this.
You know who taught me to use a hands-free device while driving? My mom. She scared me to death all through school with that phone up to her ear, driving us back and forth. Now that I'm on the road solo, I tell my mom, I'm worried about you. Go hands-free with the phone when you're driving. I do. It's important to set a good example for parents, so when she rides with me, I turn it off, put it down, and just drive.
The West Virginia Department of Transportation, saving one life at a time.
This Saturday, the West Virginia Mountaineers travel to Texas for a Big 12 matchup against the Baylor Bears. Join the MetroNews Game Day crew starting at 9 a.m. for the Jeep Gold and Blue Countdown, followed by the Sports Brunch. Game line kicks off at high noon. Then post-game analysis begins at 3 on the Gold and Blue Wrap-Up, presented by the West Virginia Oil and Natural Gas Association, followed by the Point After at 5. Don't miss Mountaineer Game Day coverage at its best on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
This is Ken Tyree, your West Virginia State Fire Marshal. Developing a fire escape plan is especially critical if you are over age 65 or have a physical, mental, or sensory disability. That's because you have a higher risk of being hurt or killed in a fire. Begin today to create your fire escape plan. Practice it until you're comfortable with it. Choose adaptive fire alarms and fire extinguishers that are best suited for your disability. This message is from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal.
The Northside Automotive statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes, on Metro News. For 30 years, the voice of West Virginia.
To navigate any map, you need a legend like Jeep Cherokee, 2015 Four-Wheeler of the Year. Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever. And introducing Jeep Renegade, the newest addition to the most awarded SUV lineup ever. Now get an additional $500 bonus cash. Hurry into the Jeep Celebration event. Get 0% financing for 72 months or $3,500 total cash allowance on Jeep Cherokee Limited.
Almost there. Just 5 more minutes. Almost home.
Statistics show that 80% of auto fatalities occur close to home on rural roads.
Cops.
That's why law enforcement is stepping up rural patrols and cracking down on impaired driving. If you are over the limit, you are under arrest because drinking and driving don't mix. Remember, over the limit, under arrest. This message brought to you by the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Welcome back, everybody. Final few minutes and a reminder that you can keep up to date with high school scores from across the state all evening long. Real-time updated scores on our website at wvmetronews.com. Dave Jekyll, Fred Persinger, Garrett Cullen, they're all getting ready with the rest of our score intake folks to bring you high school game night, which starts at 9:30 this evening. It's time now for our Who segment. That's Who, W-H-O, the Who segment. Ready for the Who segment?
Yes.
Not so fast, my friend. I've got to remind you that you can raise a pint during Bramwell's Oktoberfest. Experience Fright Nights at Glade Springs Resort or sign up for ACE's Zombie Run. Plenty to see and do in wild, wonderful West Virginia. If you want to know what's happening in our state and want to check it out, simply do it by going to the website, go to WV.com. G-O-T-O. No 2 with a 2. T-O. WV.com. Got it? Go to WV.com.
When's that Fright Night thing start?
Babar? Is that 2 B's?
2. B-A-B-A-R.
The Fright Night starts October 9, which is
today,
doggone,
right?
that's tonight. October 9 through the 31st. The Zombie Run takes place on Halloween. You can register online. Once again, go to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the Instagrams. Check it out. Go to WV.com. All right, here we go. It's our Who segment on the Northside Automotive Statewide Sports Line. Two who's. Who has to play well for West Virginia to be successful tomorrow night on offense? Who?
Go ahead, Hunter. Take a lineman.
Well, you got it.
Yeah, right?
I think Tyler Orlowski probably got it.
The guy that's going to face Ogba most of the night is going to be Marquise Lucas. So, obviously, you got to slow down Emmanuel Ogba. Marquise Lucas will face him more times than not. It better be Marquise Lucas. If he has a struggling game, nothing but trouble.
Senator?
That's a very good pick since he took first pick, so I'll immediately default to where I go all the time.
Quarterback?
One, Skylar Howard. But I'm with Hunter. Hunter's first, then Skylar Howard. If Marquise Lucas plays well, that helps Skylar Howard play well, but I'll go Skylar Howard.
Who on defense has to have a big game?
Wow, that's a good one.
Who can get to the passer?
No.
Well, that's going to be big.
Who's your guy?
That'll help.
Can you get there? Can you get there, Coach Hunter?
Yeah, because I mean they dialed up pretty good against Oklahoma. I thought they had the blitz going pretty well and got decent pressure at times. Didn't get it home quite as much as Gibby would like, but I thought they did okay. It'd be nice if they didn't have to use as much blitz pressure, but that's just going to be this team. I mean, I'll go with the guy that is going to replace the guy. I mean, Jared Harper, right? I mean, he doesn't have to be Carl Joseph. He can't be Carl Joseph, but he can't make mistakes, right? Got to just go out there and play what he can do,
30 seconds, Senator. Who are you going with defensively?
I don't know. That's a good one, but I just think I'm going to go everybody else and anybody that can get to the quarterback. Because if that was the problem last week,
you took the house.
Yeah, I took the house.
You took the roster. You took the roster.
I want to see somebody get to Mason Rudolph. I'll take everybody else on that defense. How's that for an answer?
I'll give you one.
Yeah, give me one of yours.
I'm not necessarily going to answer my question, but I'm going to tell you a player that I think people will say, hey, that kid had a really, really good game and had a big game and was a key to the victory. Ricky Rumph.
Nickel corner.
Ricky Rumph. Spell that R-U-M-P-H. Rumph. Give the governor Rumph. Ricky Rumph. That's it. That's all I got for you. They pay us by the word, and we've used our allotment for the week. Don't forget, game night at 9:30. Thanks so much for being with us. Thanks to our callers. Thanks to Bill Haston. We're out. Have yourself a grand evening. We'll see you.
The Northside Automotive statewide sports line has been an exclusive presentation of the MetroNews Radio Network. Copyright 2015. All rights reserved.